There we go. Hey, this is Katie from the Buff Typical, and I'm doing part 2 of my Doctor Who Top 5. Spoilers alert. Please only watch this episode if you aren't afraid of spoilers, because there are quite a few. Coming in 5th place, we have The Fires of Pompeii. This episode really sneaks up on you. At first you're like, oh, what a nice episode. And then the Doctor has to decide whether to destroy Pompeii or the world. Of course he chooses Pompeii. And then Donna's crying out to save someone. I usually start crying about there. And then Donna points out that Gallifrey burned, and the Doctor says if he could go back, he would. If you aren't crying by now, I'm not sure what's wrong with you. But then he decides to go back to Pompeii and save that one family, and all is right with the world. But then it's not, because Gallifrey is still burned. And coming in 4th place is The Snowman. I knew it was coming, and it still hurt. I honestly haven't watched it since Christmas because it's too emotionally scarring. I had this irrational hope that Claire would live, but LOL, nope, didn't happen. When it starts raining because the family is crying after Claire's death, and that is what destroys the snowman. I was really torn on whether the death of Clara was a good thing or not. And I would like a round of applause for all the Sherlock references. And I would like to point out that Doctor Who has done it again. They've taken a childhood wonder like snowmen and made them deadly monsters. And coming in 3rd, we have The End of Time, which should be renamed The Farewell Tour. We have Wilfred, Donna's granddad, as a companion, which just makes an episode awesome in itself. We also have the return of the Master, even crazier and scarier than before. We also have the return of the Time Lords, who are kind of scary. Epic battle, the Doctor names the President who attempts to kill him, and then poof, Time Lords, Master, and Gallifrey all disappear in a flash of light, and then Wilf has to knock 4 times. Wilf is one of my favorite characters, and it's heartbreaking that he's the one that knocks 4 times, which everyone knows will only occur right before the 10th Doctor's death. And then we find out that the Master has modified the Immortality Gate to flood the chamber with radiation, and only the self-sacrifice of another will free the Doctor. The Doctor decides to release Wilfred and cast the radiation on himself, where he collapses in agony because, radiation, not a good thing. And then the regeneration starts, and you're like, no, 10th Doctor, I love you, stay the way you are. The farewell tour of all of his former companions and acquaintances just completely breaks your heart. Little tear. 10th Doctor. And in 2nd place we have Doomsday. Doomsday is one of the coolest episodes of the entire series. I mean, it has a showdown between the Daleks and Cybermen, and there was some major zingers thrown between the two of them. There's this one.
Daleks have no concept of elegance. This is obvious.
And this one.
You are superior in only one respect.
What is that?
You are better at dying.
And this one.
Not war. This is pest control.
And then everything wasn't too bad until Mickey had to go and touch the Ark, sparking a war between the Daleks and the Cybermen, which resulted in humans being massacred in the crossfire. Way to go, Mickey. And then Pete and Jackie get reunited, blah blah blah. The most entertaining part of that was Mickey's face when Jackie tells Pete that there was no one else. Yeah. And then the doctor explains the 3D glasses, void stuff. So then Rose decides that she loves the doctor so much that she's going to ignore everything he said about being sucked into the void. Transports back to the doctor. Oh, here comes the feels. Feeling coming on. Right here. Okay. So Royce's void lever thingamajig starts to slip, and she's like, I'm gonna go let go of the only thing keeping me from being sucked into the void and go fix this lever thing. She pushes the lever back, but she loses her grip and is about to be sucked into the void when Pete transports in, grabs her, and then transports her back to the parallel universe. And then Rose has that dream. So everyone packs their bags and goes to Bad Wolf Bay. And then the doctor is burning up a sun just to say goodbye. So Rose confesses her love to the doctor, and then comes the line. Rose Tyler, and then you're sitting there like, no. Or if you're my friend Tim.
We always knew it wasn't Mickey.
I mean, what can be more heartbreaking than that? Oh wait, we have the #1 most heartbreaking episode, Journey's End. There is no time to recover. Starting off with the Dr. Donna meta crisis. I mean, why did Donna have to forget? I know why, but still. In that episode, he parts ways with all of his companions, starting off with Sarah Jane and Luke, and then there's Mickey, Martha, and Captain Jack. And then there's Rose and Jackie's departure. When Rose asks both doctors what the last thing the doctor said to her before the transmission ended in Doomsday, and the doctor responds with, does it need saying? Yes, it does need saying! You can practically hear all the Tenant Rose shippers screaming, yes, it does! And then 10-2 whispers the answer in her ear, and the feels, and then they kiss, and then everything is wonderful, but it's not. And going back to the Dr. Donna meta crisis, when Donna's all like, I don't want to forget. It's one of the few times I have legitimately started sobbing during a Doctor Who episode, and that is why Journey's End is the #1 most heartbreaking episode. I would like to make a small note that I'm getting a special mention to Angels Take Manhattan, because it was a lot more heartbreaking than I thought it'd be, and it was very well written. So there you go. This is the end of part 2 for my top 5 Doctor Who. Not sure how many more parts I'm going to make, but there you go.